Today, we dive into the complex and escalating dynamics in the Middle East as Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu publicly acknowledges a recent controversial operation targeting Hezbollah communications in Lebanon. Plus, the strengthening alliance between Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump over shared view on the Iranian threat. Let's break down what it is at stake. For the first time, Netanyahu has confirmed Israel's responsibility for an operation in September that specifically targeted hundreds of pagers used by Hezbollah members in Lebanon. In a bold statement, Netanyahu revealed that this mission codenamed Operation Beeper was executed despite international opposition from Israel's own defense establishment and intelligence leaders. During the attack, this pager device exploded, killing at least 37 people, injuring nearly 3,000 others, and sparking intense outrage in Lebanon. Some say the strikes were not just against Hezbollah, but caused severe collateral damage, impacting civilians and medical personnel. Netanyahu's acknowledgement also serves as a broader strategic purpose aimed at reinforcing his stance on the national security, particularly his yielding opposition to Hezbollah's influence, which he sees as an extension of Iran's presence on Israel's northern border. Beyond the operation, Netanyahu spoke about recent discussions with the US President Donald Trump. Netanyahu claims they see eye to eye on the Iranian threat and that both are committed to countering what they perceive as Iran's expanding power in the region. This shared stance against Iran highlights a shift in Middle East geopolitical as Iran extends its influence via groups like Hezbollah. Israel sees direct intervention. To understand the significance of this pager operation, let's take a step back and look at the broader conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. Hezbollah, a powerful militant and political group based in Lebanon, has long been backed by Iran. Israel views Hezbollah as a direct threat given their close proximity and history of armed conflicts, most notably the 2006 Lebanon War. Over the years, Hezbollah has fortified its presence along Israel's northern border with a vast network of weapons, fighters, and technology. Israel sees this build-up as part of a larger Iranian strategy to increase its influence in the Middle East by naming and supporting groups like Hezbollah. In recent years, the situation has intensified, with reports suggesting that Hezbollah has been using advanced communication methods like encrypted pagers to organize its forces and coordinate activities. The goal of Israel pager operation was to disrupt Hezbollah's communication channels and ultimately weaken their ability to pose a threat along the border. However, the operation did not go without incident. According to Lebanese authorities, many civilians, including children, were among the injured. The explosion struck multiple locations and reportedly killed over 30 people, with nearly 3,000 wounded, both Hezbollah operatives and base tenders. The scale of the civilian casualties has drawn international attention and criticism, with some arguing that such tactics risk escalating tensions further. Operations like these walk a fine line. On one hand, Israel views Hezbollah as an immediate threat, an arm of Iran's strategic interest. On the other, when civilians are affected, it can fuel anti-Israel sentiments across the region, making a volatile situation even more challenging to control. Amid the controversy, Netanyahu's remarks were not only confirmation of Israel's involvement, but also a calculated political move. In recent weeks, Israel government has faced mounting criticism both for the operation itself and for the seeming conflict between Netanyahu's political objectives and those of Israel's security and intelligence establishment. But Netanyahu's stance is aligned with the United States, particularly with the President Donald Trump, who has taken a similar hardline approach toward Iran. Netanyahu has spoken highly of his recent conversation with Trump, emphasizing a shared vision in tackling the Iranian threat. This alignment has significant implications, and as both leaders have prioritized Iran as a central challenge to regional and global stability. For Israel, these efforts to counter Iran are part of the broader security framework, but they also risk backlash across the Middle East. Anti-Israel and anti-US sentiments have intensified, partly driven by incidents like the Pager operation. Pro-Iran factions within Lebanon and Syria have condemned these actions, claiming they present violations of national sovereignty. Further escalation could lead to confrontation not just with Hezbollah, but with other Iran-backed groups in the region. Meanwhile, countries like Syria and Iraq remain strangled in the complex web of alliance and enmities, making any escalation specifically risky. Netanyahu's concerns aren't limited to the Middle East. Following anti-statement attacks against Israel funds in Netherlands, Netanyahu condemned both the physical attacks and what he described as legal attacks on Israel and international institutions. Recently, Israel's security agency has issued advisories to its citizens abroad, warning of potential threat targeting Israel's and Jews in several European countries. The advisory is part of Israel's broader response to growing concerns of anti-Semitic violence, which Netanyahu connects to increased security of Israel on the globe. Israeli National Security Council has recommended the citizens avoid large gatherings and exercise caution when displaying identifying Israel or Jew symbols. As global tensions rise, Israel leadership is determined to protect its citizens both at home and abroad. In the coming weeks, we'll likely see more developments as Israel navigates this delicate situation, balancing regional security concerns with international security and dynamic domestic challenges. The complex relationship between Israel, Hezbollah, and Iran continues to be a central issue in the Middle East with global implications. Stay tuned for updates as we follow this evolving story.